I was privileged to be part of the Metro Atlanta Chamber, both during the time I was chairman as well as a number of other years, and continue to stay involved because it's an organization that really does make a difference.
Being the first black president of the Chamber of Commerce meant quite a bit to me because it meant quite a bit to Atlanta.
We've taken on the difficult issues. We've done it smoothly, intelligently, confidently.
We need to be more than the Booster Club. We need to be a problem solver. And I think the Chamber has done a great job of that, of not being get along, go along, but kind of taking the leadership role in solving some of the major issues that we see.
There is no other organization in metropolitan Atlanta that can pull together the resources to deal with issues like transportation, water, Grady, should we change the flag or not. So were it not for the Chamber, we really would not have a voice as a business community in dealing with issues in Atlanta.
Traffic and our transportation system is an enabler of our economic system, and it leads to more growth. It leads to people wanting to live here and work here, and then obviously it leads to companies wanting to relocate to Atlanta. And not solving it is just simply not an option.
So I think one of the things that has served Atlanta well through the years is the cooperative relationship between the public sector and the private sector. And I think that's particularly important from the standpoint of education.
The water issue is the single most important economic development issue, far beyond anything else for the short term, the medium term, and the long term.
The flag wouldn't have been changed without the business community support. I remember a number of us go into Governor Barnes' office to talk about how important this was. We were trying to get another Super Bowl. We had NCAA Final Four and many other things that were important to Atlanta and the state that were not going to happen unless the flag got changed.
Grady is the classic. All of a sudden, we've got the total resources of the Chamber of Commerce working with us. We've formed a task force. We've spent 90 days studying the issue. We've developed consensus, and we've got a plan, and we go execute it.
People like Arthur Blank and Bernie Marcus came here and started Home Depot. They could have gone any other place, but they not only continued that tradition, but they continued and expanded the philanthropic tradition that went with the Coca-Cola Company and with UPS.
I think we have over 2,000 international companies now. We have, 60, 90 offices from either consulates or business offices here. It started in '96.
Billy Payne and his group, as you know, worked very hard to have Atlanta selected as the city that the United States would support for the Olympic Games. They came to the Chamber, and we as business leaders in the Chamber said, hey, this could really happen.
And that you have great institutions like this Chamber of Commerce that will come along and get involved in it and support it and those things and make them work.
I don't understand this, as I've studied and know a lot about chambers all over, and I've never seen any chamber that ever had a sports committee together. In Lee's credit, to his credit, he did a lot of investigation. He came back and he says, listen, I found out sports has a great economic impact, and boy, he bought into it.
We've had a lot of different achievements. We've got a title sponsor, we've gone into the Dome, but I think overall, they all boil down to one thing. We have finally gotten to the point where we're respected in the Atlanta community. The business community and the people of Atlanta have finally accepted the bowl as a first-class bowl.
When you want to have a great quality of life, you have to think about quality of growth. And the Chamber, through their task force on quality growth, which I chaired, And we had so many people involved in from throughout the region, and in many other ways, transportation, water, education, economic development has really focused on and led our efforts to sustain our quality of life.
Let me tell you about the New Economy Task Force, chaired by David Ratcliffe of the Southern Company, co-chaired by Bill Lingerfelter and myself, with one singular goal: job growth, and job growth not just for this year, but for the next 10 years. And this task force was so impactful that garnered national attention from the New York Times. They were amazed at our ability not to sit back and hope for growth during this recession, but they were able to get the leadership together to drive a plan for economic development and growth.
It is a place to bring the resources of the business community together to deal with issues that nobody else wants to touch.
You know, to any future chamber leaders, I would just say never. So many tough things in our region have started with a group of people coming together saying there's just no way we can tackle this, whether it's transportation or Grady Hospital or water or air. Yet people do come together and they take on what seems to be a just impossible task, and we get great results. And we don't always get it the year we take it on.
Stay focused, work hard, and always realize that you have an obligation to society to give back.
But Atlanta has a legacy of leadership, and leaders have really stepped up to contribute to this city, to contribute to its success, and they've done so very selflessly, and they've done so very tirelessly. I think that's what made us the community, has made us the community that we are today.
I think if you went back and asked any of those leaders, visionary leaders that we've talked about here today, I think if you ask any of them what was key to your vision being implemented, they would tell you the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce.